Hello, this is Sheila's Embroidery. I've come here today to show you how I made these little beads. Now, as you can see from my box, I like making beads and bead dangles, but these ones I'm going to show you today are made with Tyvek. Now then, you might say, well, what is Tyvek? I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it looks like. It's a man-made material, and it's quite strong. You can't tear it. I can distort it, but I can't tear it. And you can get it in different weights. This one is 55. It says 55 grams here, but it's actually, I think what it means is actually it's 55 GSM, which is a normal paperweight that we sometimes buy things. It is quite thin. It's very, very flexible, and you can hear it crinkling and making a noise. So that's the very fine one. And this one is 105 GSM, and it's a much, much thicker, almost card. It feels a bit like a thin card. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually made from fibres which crisscross, and again I've tried to tear this, but you can't tear it, it just distorts. Okay, now the first thing you've got to do to make your beads is to colour it. And I've got some new colouring products here by Cosmic Shimmer. Some of you may have Cosmic Shimmer spray colouring, and it really gives a lovely metallic looking surface. If you put it onto card, it's really smooth and it's easy to use, and it has a lovely sheen and shimmer to it. So it's metallic gilding polish. I think you might be able to see that. And I'm going to just put a little bit. You don't want too much on your sponge. And I'm just going to colour it all over in different places. This is a lovely blue colour. You can see this one where it's slightly thicker. It's really quite thick and smooth. This one, where the stain is just a little bit thinner, you can actually see some of the lines in there. And I just put that on in different places. I don't worry too much about how much is on. I will cover that up again. This just clips into place and stays with the bottle. This one is a rich red, it says. I think it's more brown than red, but that's just me. So again, you don't want too much. This one's quite a soft one. So you almost put it on the pad and then push it off again. And very quickly covers the paper. Now I did do 1 or 2 beads the other day without colouring the other side, but I found that the white edges just was a bit distracting, so I find it always best to turn it over and colour the other side. So I'll do the red first this time. I'm not worried about where it's going. Make sure you do the edges though as well, because that's quite important. And I'll put that away and get the blue out again. This one's called Teal, Ocean Teal. It's not such a meaty one, this. And I'm just going to cover the rest of the white. Making sure I've got no lumps and bumps in it. That's just a waste. So there's my Tyvek is covered. Now it doesn't take very long to dry. You'll find that you'll get it all over your fingers, but the beauty about this is that it's water based. And excuse me a minute while I go and get the baby wipes, which I left on the other table. And you can clean your hands, soap and water, and just for ease I'm using the baby wipe, and as a result you'll get some colour on your baby wipe as well. I never throw these away because I find that they can be used. So there's the dye is more or less off there, but I'm going to leave this one to dry out a little bit and bring in one that I did a little bit earlier on, because this is video part 2. First one I was interrupted. Yeah, but you can see I've done the same thing. I've covered both sides of the Tyvek, and I'm going to cut a little strip off there, deliberately making it thicker at one end than the other. I will use that later on. But I'm going to cut this into triangle shapes, but triangle shapes that have a slightly fatter point. It's not a proper point, it has got an edge. And I'll go all along this piece of paper, cutting it out, and depending on how wide you want your beads, the wider it is here, the wider your beads will be. And just carry on cutting that out. I think I've done enough there to show you. And here's one that I did the other day. You can see I've got some other colours underneath there. This is actually a different paint that I'm playing with, the Posca paints, and they give a really matte finish. Right, so there's a little bit of that yellow underneath there. So what do? You put put my scissors away, and I think I'll use this as the inside and that as the outside of the bead. Skewer, just a little wooden skewer. I wouldn't advise using metal skewers because the metal skewer will get hot when I bring out the heat gun later on. And all I'm doing is rolling this triangle around my skewer, and as you roll it, it will just give an edge on both sides, so it'll be slightly fatter in the middle. You'll then need a pin. I'll have to pinch a pin from up here. Now I found it quite tough to get the pin into there, so be very careful that the pin doesn't pop out the other side. I've never managed to do it. In fact, I've bent quite a few of my pins trying to get it into the Tyvek. That should be enough to actually just hold it in place, or not, as the case may be. And it is starting to unroll, so I'll just take it back. It's got a natural roll now. I need to take it back to the beginning to make it a bit tighter. As I said, I find the pinning part of this the most difficult. I don't know whether it's just that my pins are not as sharp as they used to be, but trying to get that pin to stay in the Tyvek and go all the way through is quite difficult. I wouldn't use little tiny headed pins. I've got some nice heart-shaped ones, so let's see if I can get this done before the pin pops. Now I'll have to put my heat gun on, so you'll hear a noise for a little while, but as it warms up, it'll melt the Tyvek and it'll start to curl up, and I'll just run it now up and down the bead, and the edges will start to melt. I'm trying to show you so that you can see it melting, and you get this crinkly edging. That should be enough. And being very careful because it will be quite hot, I'm just pressing it into place just to make sure that it stays put. And there is my bead. And I'll go on. I'm going to try one with, I haven't made one yet with this, and I haven't coloured the other side, but you can see the paint through it, so I'll just see how this works so that you can see the difference with the different colours on it. But I painted this in the same way as I did the other. It's got yellow, green, purple, blue, and a sort of beige colour on it. I've made these using acrylic paints before in the past. You've got to be so careful with acrylic paints because it does smell, and if you are in any way allergic to these smells, please be careful. Come on, get through. Holding it. Yes, it is. And again, I'll get the heat gun and try and let you see how it curls up quite quickly. And if you get, sorry, I'll take it to the wrong side. I can see it curling up where the heat is getting to it, and it's showing other colours coming through from the other side, which is quite nice. It's one of the effects of Tyvek. It goes into little holes, and whatever colour is on the other side or underneath it shows through, so you've got a multicoloured bead. And I'm going to carry on because I've got some beads already pinned up on this skewer, and I'm going to switch off now, and I will maybe post a picture later on of what these beads look like. This one has